Good morning. Happy Monday. I think you're going to have a great week this week. I'm going to start with an attitude of gratitude. And today I am grateful for relationships that help us grow and relationships that teach us. And that's okay. That's okay if sometimes your relationship is just there for a lesson and maybe how to act or how not to act. That's all right. Sometimes relationships are there to teach us. My father, I do not think there's anybody on this planet that does not like him. I sincerely think that. And his father was the same way. Very personable people, very likable people, loving, humble workers, that kind of a person. That's how my father is. But his brother, on the other hand, did not have all of those characteristics. He was a good person, but he was kind of a harsh speaker, somebody that kind of spoke harshly, and he was a little bit harder to love, in my opinion. And he had such good qualities about him, but the way that he approached other people was a little bit harsh, where my father was the opposite. And I remember being young and not really knowing how to handle that, kind of getting my feelings hurt, and the way that he spoke, I wasn't used to. And I remember one time, my little sister, who was 7 years younger than me, so quite a bit younger than me, I was probably in high school. I remember he said something kind of harsh to her, and she clapped back with something that was funny, but a little bit cutting too, to kind of put him in his place. And she was probably like 8 years old. And I remember being like, well, that's a way to handle it. And of course, everyone, including him, laughed and just thought it was great, but it kind of let him know, no, we're not going to speak that way. And I was like, I don't think I would ever be quick enough to think of a comeback like that was not mean. I always say, keep it clean, don't be mean in my classrooms when people are speaking. It was not mean, but it was enough that like, hey, this is not how we're going to act. And it kind of led me to a lifetime of thinking I need to be a little bit more like that, more like my father, a little bit like my little sister, all of those things. And I was looking at Proverbs 17, verse 22, a merry heart does good like medicine, but a broken spirit dries the bone. You can decide if you're going to have a merry heart, even in the midst of tragedy, even in the midst of loss. And I think it's important to remember that every single person you come in contact with is going through something they've never been through before. Even if it's just a regular day, everything is new. Every single thing is new. You can't say that they've done that before. Our football team just won the state championship. They got the blue map in football for the third year. But you know what? Even though they've been there a few times before, this is a brand new team that's there. That team that was on the field that won that wasn't the team that won that the first time that happened to them. Everything's brand new. And let's have a little grace as we are handling each other, especially throughout this season. And let's have a whole lot of love. Let's season our words and remember that you are loved.